pretty excited about that. I wanted to welcome everyone to this quick and straight to the point content that I want to share with you because this really was something that I have walked out in my own life in the area of healing the heart. I was sharing with a friend how really it's interesting how most of my life dealt with healing. And not only that, but I'm quite sure I will be able to share this in more content. But I physically healed my heart, not only emotionally, spiritually, and mentally with the help of God, um, but physical. Um, I had a physical heart surgery, so it's amazing to see um, how it all connects, how it all connects. So I'll come on the segment and share more about really how and why I had the heart surgery and really how it all tied in together with being emotionally hurt, mentally hurt. So share that and how um, I'll just share really quick how I really just did a lot of emotional eating and I did a lot of numbing. And also just a lack of education when it came to nutrition and poor eating and not knowing that the stuff that I was consuming in my body that it wasn't breaking it down. And so I needed heart surgery at the age of 21. Can you believe that? At the age of 21, I had heart surgery and yeah, it had the actually more of my arteries that needed to be cleaned out, and so it was an emergency surgery, um, and yeah, and I'll go more into depth in that because I really do believe that not only am I getting ready to share 3 steps to heal from a wounded heart, but how I really healed my physical heart. So I'll share more of that on a later segment. If you would like to hear more about it, you can comment at the link below. But 3 steps to heal from a wounded heart. Um, First of all, I want to just share that the body is wired to heal itself. The body is wired to heal itself. When you think of a cut or when you bleed, your body immediately heals itself while you're sleeping. Your body immediately heals itself, either while you're sleeping, if it's under a band aid, if it's it. Your body is naturally wired to heal itself. The same goes for your healing, your physical healing, your emotional healing, spiritual, or your mental healing concerning the matters of the heart. The reason why cuts heal, the reason why a physical cut, would heal is because there is some form of allowing and not resisting. There is some, I would really want you to get that. There is some form of allowing it to heal and not resisting, and not resisting. So, number one, oftentimes, step number one, oftentimes what blocks the healing process or the mending process is resistance or a block that prevents your healing from manifesting or from happening. So there is a resistance or there is a block from it mending. And I share in the mini course really how oftentimes when we desire our hearts to be healed, we could be the very thing that's pushing the healing to not manifest because of a fear, which is a resistance, because of a hidden belief that we're saying yes to. So, for example, if you want your heart to be healed, maybe if you were hurt or maybe you had a childhood wound, um, but because of maybe that trauma or that experience that you had that may have broken your heart, because of that, it's, and you may have had as a record, your body oftentimes gets on overdrive and it says, okay, we're going to build up these walls so we don't let that happen again. And what ends up happening is that we end up repeating the very thing that we don't desire, or we end up repeating the very belief um, that's creating our reality. And so you may desire your heart to be healed, but there is an underneath subconscious block that goes against what you truly desire. Okay. So that is number one. And then I moved on to number two. Number two, because of those blocks or resistance that I just stated, there's a reason. I said there's a reason why you have those blocks and those resistance. We oftentimes resist the healing, like I mentioned earlier, or the mending of the heart because of fear. So my question to you is, what are you blocking or resisting out of fear? Resisting. Now, there is a benefit. There's a benefit to fear. It protects us and keeps us out of harm's way. But at the same time, even though fear is a necessary component of our lives, right? It is wired, fear is the energy of really to protect us, right? And it keeps us out of harm's way. But at the same time, it can stifle us. It can stifle us. It can get in the way of us not listening to God, of us not listening to our hearts, of us not listening to what our inner or our higher self or our intuition is truly telling us that will heal us and allow us to be on the path of our healing or be on the path of our miracle. So in the mini course of Heal Your Heart at the link below, I dive into why the brain can be in overdrive of protecting itself and why it does that. So I explained that in further detail in the course, but I'm going to explain it to you briefly here. As I mentioned earlier, the reason why oftentimes the brain goes on overdrive to protect itself is because of the experience or the trauma, maybe how big the trauma might have been, right? How big the trauma might have been, or what we might have experienced, how big it might have, how big it might have been, and how much we held on to it to protect us, right? And so, as I've stated before, when we hold on to those energies, when we hold on to that agreement, when we hold on to that belief to protect us, the fear is the illusion. The illusion, because in truth, we have the power to let it go. In truth, we have the power to detach from that energy, from that spiritual stronghold, from that agreement, from that tie. We have the power. There's a verse that, and I'm paraphrasing, but there's a verse in the Bible that talks about how God has given us the power to tread upon serpents, to tread upon those things. God has given us the power. And then there's also a verse that talks about, for I've given the power that works within you. I believe it's in Ecclesiastics. So it's talk about how really just overall, y'all know what I mean. The very thing that God has given us, we have to activate it. The very healing that you are seeking, God has already given to you to activate it. But oftentimes we can be our biggest threat. We can be our biggest enemy because of the very thing that we keep repeating and saying yes to, because of what is recording and playing in the background of our mind. And so it is identifying that, right? It is identifying that belief, right? Listening to our hearts, getting quiet, and listening to the truth of what our spirit is really telling us. Because our soul knows the path of our lives. And God truly knows the path of your lives. And when you connect with your soul, when you connect to your soul, you're connecting to God. When you connect to your spirit, you're connecting one with your Savior. You're connecting one with God. And in that connection, in that, you have to pause and listen, because that is the path to your breakthrough, and that is the path of your true healing. So, number three, and I don't know why I did not charge my computer, but I'm not going to be before you long. Number three, the fear is an emotion, and the emotion is based out of a belief. The fear is an emotion, and the emotion is based out of a belief. So let's get that out of the way. Fear is an emotion, right? It's a trigger, but it doesn't just trigger just to trigger. It is an emotion based out of a belief. So once you identify the belief, the root of the belief, and oftentimes the belief is rooted. The reason why the fear is still there is because we're still holding on to the belief, and the belief is attached to the trauma. And when it's attached to the trauma, you find yourself repeating more and more of the trauma. It's like insanity, repeating, rocking back and forth, repeating more and more of the trauma. So shifting the belief, shifting the belief, identifying the belief, recognizing whether or not is this belief stem from a fear, or does this stem from the truth of who I am? Is this belief going to free me, or is this belief based out of love? Is this belief that I have, is it out of fear and that I'm trying to constantly defend over and over again, and I keep repeating the very cycle that I do not desire? These are the questions that we ask to help heal ourselves, to help uproot. So identifying the beliefs helps you recognize why you have the reaction of the fear. And this is the power that we all have. This is the power that we all possess. This is the power that we all have. This is the power that we all possess. I want to thank you guys for joining me. These are the 3 steps to heal from a wounded heart. You guys can put the comments out below if you guys would like for me to share more information, more topics of this caliber. But yeah, I'll be on much more often to share this with you guys. If you guys want to get further in depth into it, I have the link of my mini course below. The full course will be out soon. It's called Heal Your Heart. I'm pretty excited about that. But other than that, you guys, that's all I want to come on here and share. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm so glad my computer didn't die. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.